what's happening? This is Joshua Boetsi and you're watching Sporting Icons.
Right, I've just watched one of the most cringe-worthy interviews I think I've possibly seen. And this comes from Tunde Ajayi, who is the trainer-manager of Anthony Yarde. Now, Anthony Yarde, he's a prospect here in the UK, for those who don't know. And we rate him very highly. The problem is that he hasn't done anything of any kind of great note. As in, he hasn't fought the right opposition, in most people's opinion, including my own. He's totally skipped the British level, he skipped Commonwealth, and he skipped European. And now he's number one with the WBO and mandated to fight Sergey Kovalev. Now, I know some people say, but he's WBO European champion. No, that's not a European level belt. It just isn't, okay? He's not the European champion. So what did Tunde Ajayi say about this fight? Well, he's saying kind of like the right things. You know, we want the fight. Why is he saying that? Because that's what the fans want to hear. He's probably tired of all the fans saying, when are you going to fight Boetsi? When are you going to fight Callum Johnson? When are you going to fight Ricky Summers? When are you going to fight Jose Burton? And so and so and so and so. Because they keep ducking. And they do keep ducking. I don't care what Tunde Ajayi says, Anthony Yarde says, Frank Warren says. I'm a huge Anthony Yarde fan. I believe in him and I believe he will become world champion one day. But as of right now, he is the UK version of Deontay Wilder. Cherry picking his entire career so far. People say, well, he didn't have too much amateur experience. So, whose fault is that? Did he choose to go pro or did he not? Did he choose to end the most important part of any fighter's career, which is the learning part? He chose to do that. When you turn pro, we expect. So, what did Tunde Ajayi say that made it cringeworthy? So, he says that we are the A side when it comes to Kovalev. Have you ever heard such nonsense in your life? Sergey Kovalev is a world superstar. He's known across the world. I'm not saying people like him. I'm not saying people turn out for him. But people know him. They've seen him have back-to-back fights with Andre Ward. They've seen him in there with plenty of good fighters. Yes, he did lose to Alida Alvarez, but he came back in the last fight to get his title back in an absolute boxing clinic where he won every single round, in my personal opinion. So you are not the A side. And I'll give you an example why, and we'll move on to another thing that he said. The reason that you're not the A side against anyone, you're not even the A side against Boetsi or Jose Burton. Okay, but the reason that I say this is because whenever Anthony Yarde fights, look at the crowd. The crowd is full. Okay, well, it's Frank Warren show, but the crowd is semi-full. Anthony Yarde comes in to fight another guy that nobody's ever heard of. Half the crowd leaves. This shows you are not an A side. So there's that one. What else do you say? If we have to move to America, if we have to fight in America against Kovalev, the fight is off. So already that's two obstacles. Either we're the A side, which you're not the A side, because when the WBO order it, guess what? The splits go in favour of the champion. That's how it's been throughout boxing. So there's that one. And the fight is off if the fight gets put on in America. Well, of course the fight's going to be put on in America, right? Now listen, I'm not going to say Sergey Kovalev isn't willing to travel. He did do that. Of course he did against Nathan Cleverly, right? Now, Sergey Kovalev, he is Russian, but he's based in America. He has American nationality. His children are American. His wife is American. They all have nationality over there. They go to school over there. So that's his home. And as champion, you have prerogative of where the damn fight is. Unless it goes to purse bid and your team lose the purse bid. But to say if the fight happens in America, we're going to pull out. This is we're letting you know we're going to pull out. We're letting you know that we're going to duck this fight. Where does he want this fight? Well, personally, I don't think he wants this fight. Clearly, but he's saying that we want this fight and we want it at the Emirates. So this is the Arsenal Football Club football stadium. Holds, was it 70,000 or thereabouts? It's a pretty big stadium, actually very, very nice stadium. And Tunde Ajayi is an Arsenal fan, Anthony Yarde is an Arsenal fan, Frank Warren is an Arsenal fan. So yes, of course, that's where they want it. But Anthony Yarde and Sergey Kovalev would not fill out the damn toilet. It would not fill in the damn concession stands at the Emirates, let alone fill 70,000. How delusional do you have to be? People are not going to turn up in the masses to the Emirates Stadium to watch Anthony Yarde. People are leaving at the damn Copper Box. People are leaving at the small hall shows. Who the hell's going to turn up? No one's going to turn up. This is an O2 Arena fight at best. And I'm being generous when I say this, at best. And even then, I'm not confident it would sell out. I'm really not. And if it did, a lot of it will be because, what, you mean Anthony Yarde's actually stepping up? Well, maybe then I might turn up. Outside of that, it's because of Sergey Kovalev, not Anthony Yarde. This is a very, very clear indication that they are not going to take the fight with Sergey Kovalev. Who comes out with, we are the A side? Who comes out with, the fight has to be in the UK? And on top of that, not just anywhere in the UK, it has to be the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal Football Club, 70,000. This ain't going to sell 70,000. Who's Anthony Yarde? People don't have too much respect for Anthony Yarde at the minute. They just don't. This is not an Emirates. This is a clear indication that they are going to duck. Forget all the fact that Anthony Yarde is saying, yeah, I really want to fight Kovalev and I'll knock him out. Forget the fact that Tunde Ajayi is saying, we want the fight. You don't want the fight. If you did want the fight, you wouldn't put up stupid obstacles. You're not the A side to anyone. You're not. You're just not the A side to anybody. Put it on the Emirates. Come on now. Come on. How is Anthony Yarde a headliner at the Emirates? I don't want to be rude about the guy. As I said, I do believe in him. I do. And him against Kovalev, I wouldn't write him off beating Kovalev. But the level that he's been fighting so far is so far away from Kovalev. It's unreal. Yeah, Kovalev, I know he is on a bit of a slide, for sure. His last performance was magnificent. But previous to that, he's been simmering. You may even say, on the slide. So don't put it past Anthony Yarde to win. But ultimately, this is not an Emirates fight. Kovalev is the champion, so you are not A side. This is a clear indication, people. So anybody who's looking forward to Sergey Kovalev versus Anthony Yarde, and anybody who has even an ounce of, oh, well, maybe this fight's going to happen. Listen, I'd love to be wrong, but clearly this ain't going to happen. It isn't going to happen. It just isn't. And I know Frank Warren will be fully on board with this. Well, we tried to make the fight, and that's what we're going to go with. So in future interviews, because the fight didn't happen, we're going to say, well, we tried to. We wanted to bring it to London. And the Emirates is a massive fight. It's not a massive fight. It just isn't. In America, it would do okay. In the UK, it would do okay. But he's the champion. He's the champion. Take it to purse bid. If you believe in it. If Frank Warren wins the purse bid and brings Kovalev to the UK and puts it on the Emirates, in my opinion, he's going to lose a hell of a lot of money. And that's my honest opinion. As much as I'll be cheering for Anthony Yarde, as much as, of course, I'll be watching, of course I will. And I'll have the old Anthony Yarde fanboy hat on for that night. Of course I will. But this is not an Emirates Stadium fight. It just isn't. Even if Anthony Yarde fought Kovalev, defeated him convincingly, and then went and fought Beterbiev or Bivol for a unification, that's still not a damn Emirates fight. Even in that scenario. Tunde Ajayi, I'm sick to death of your excuses now. I'm sick of it. You are cringeworthy. Whenever you talk about Anthony Yarde and his career, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Stop putting up these hurdles that you know are not going to be met. You are not going to get paid more money than Kovalev. You do not have right to say Kovalev should do this and Kovalev should do that. No. You are the challenger. Sergey Kovalev is the champion. Like it or not, that's how it is. You want to become champion, then you go do whatever it takes to get that fight done. You need to concede on things, and most importantly, Anthony Yarde needs to go there and defeat Sergey Kovalev. All of these are a very tall order. What you don't do is put up A-side status when you're clearly not an A-side. You don't put up the fact that I'm not willing to travel, because that is a duck, and it must be at the Emirates. What complete hogwash. Complete hogwash. Yarde is losing fans by the dozens per day because of this kind of talk. People are sick of it. This is a clear duck without them saying, yeah, we're ducking. Nobody's that stupid to think that Anthony Yarde actually wants this fight, if these are really the barriers. Anyway, I'll put a link to his interview in the description box. If you can bring yourself to watch it, go have a good laugh. Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.